Hi everyone. So about a week ago, I had a surgery done to see if I have endometriosis, and I wanted to share the experience that I've had with that surgery for anybody who is thinking that they might have to have that surgery done or who has it planned. It's always, kind of reassuring to hear what an experience might be like. I always enjoy that, so I wanted to share my experience so that hopefully it can be helpful to somebody else. So I met with my doctor and just discussed a lot of pelvic floor, like pain in my lower pelvic region that I've been having that just has felt like it's getting worse. I just have been having really horrible cramping pain that has been like debilitating. I'll have a day every week where I just feel like I can't even stand up because my pain is so severe. And so after kind of discussing some options with them, we decided that doing a surgery to see if I might have endometriosis would probably be the best option. And so after getting it scheduled, obviously had some phone calls where they went over my health history and things like that, and we got the date set and everything. So the day before the surgery, they called and told me what time I needed to be at the hospital, everything like that. And so that morning, got to the hospital, got checked in. They had me go change into the gown. The nurse came in and went again over all my health history, allergies, everything like that. Got an IV put in, got me all ready to go. And after a while, when they were ready to start the surgery, they took me back. And this is kind of interesting because with other surgeries, I can't remember any of this process, but I can remember some of it with this one. So I do remember being taken into the my words. I am very tired as I'm still recovering, but they took me into the operating room and I can remember what it looked like. I remember them helping me like move from the stretcher onto the operating table, which, is a little bit intimidating. And at that point, they asked how I was doing and I said I was feeling anxious and they said they would give me something to help with that. And then I don't remember after that point. I do remember then waking up in the PACU, where they take care of you after you're waking up from surgery. And again, I don't remember this with my other surgeries that I've had, but I just remember feeling really awful, mostly nausea. And I am kind of curious because my other surgeries that I've had have been inpatient, whereas this surgery was outpatient, which means that I went, had the surgery, and went home all in the same day. Whereas my other surgeries, I've had to stay in the hospital. So I'm almost wondering if maybe I did have a poor reaction with anesthesia with my other surgeries and I just don't remember it, or it was just kind of better controlled since the whole time I stayed in the hospital. But I do remember being in about like a 6 out of 10 pain when I was waking up, but the nausea was what was killing me. I just felt so sick to my stomach, felt really terrible. And after they kind of helped me to get to like an okay point, they then like reunited me with my husband, put me in a room, and again they just wanted to make sure that I was able to swallow okay, that I wasn't like throwing up uncontrollably, and that my breathing was okay, because obviously they don't want to send you home if you're not breathing okay, if you're requiring oxygen and stuff like that. And I do vaguely remember, as they would try to turn the oxygen down for a little while, it would drop to like 85%. So I did stay there for a while until I was able to, safely breathe on my own. At that point, after they had done teaching with my husband, I don't remember any of that. And eventually they said, okay, like you're okay to take her home. Getting out to the car, I felt really awful. And I threw up on the way home. I threw up coming into the house and a couple more times once I got home. So my nausea has been really bad. And again, I don't know if that's just from the anesthesia, what exactly that's from, but nausea has been a struggle for me with this. And still, even it's been almost a week now and my appetite is just not very good. I've kind of had to force myself to be trying to drink and stay hydrated, and eat as much as I can, but my appetite just has not been very good. So for the surgery itself, they did just 2 incisions. One is kind of on the upper left quadrant of my stomach, so up almost kind of by where my stomach is on my abdomen. And they're small, you know, they're like about like that big. And then one is a lot lower down. It's almost where my like hip bones, my pubic bones meet, down like in my pelvis. There's another small one. So I just have the two. They're bruised. They are closed with surgical glue, skin adhesive, which is nice. No stitches or staples or anything. They're just glued shut. The pain hasn't been too bad. I felt that what they gave me for the pain, they did give me a little bit of narcotics for a couple days to take at home, and I felt like that was completely sufficient for me. And they are starting to itch a little bit now, just kind of under the glue, which obviously don't scratch those. But yeah, the pain has not been too bad. Kind of like I was mentioning, for me, the worst part has been the nausea. It has been really tough for me. Another aspect that has been challenging for me, and it's gotten a lot better now, but actually is like my throat, which obviously your throat can be really sore after surgery because of the intubation. They put a tube down your throat to help you be able to breathe during the surgery, and that can obviously cause you to have a sore throat. For me, about a day after the surgery, I realized that my uvula, the thing that hangs down in the back of your throat, if you open your mouth in the mirror, you can see that thing kind of hanging down in the middle of your mouth at the back. That was extremely swollen, and I actually started to kind of have some PTSD from when I got my tonsils out. That was years ago when I was 18, but it also got really swollen with that surgery. I don't know if it kind of gets like caught or something when they're intubating me, and it just gets really, really swollen. And I remember that was like the worst part of recovering from having my tonsils out for me, was my uvula being so swollen. And I really think a part of initially why my nausea was so bad is that my uvula was so swollen that it was resting on my tongue. Like, it was so swollen that like it was hanging down and just so huge that it would lay against the back of my tongue. And that feeling made me feel like I was choking. It made me feel like I couldn't breathe. And then feeling like I was choking, it made me nauseous. And so that, honestly, for the first couple days was probably the worst part for me. I had my husband get me some like throat numbing spray and just like eating lots of ice and popsicles and things like that to try to help with the swelling. Now it is completely fine. It's still, you can tell it looks a little bit irritated, but not near as bad as it was. So, but that's an interesting random, issue that I've had after surgery. I don't know if that's common. I don't know if a lot of people experience that, or if that's kind of just a random thing that I experience, but it's been one of the harder things for me. So the nausea, that, and then the other thing that's been difficult for me has been like temperature stability. I have just been getting so overheated. Sometimes I feel fine, and then other times like I have to have my hair pulled up, I've got to have a wet washcloth, a fan blowing on me, like as little clothing as possible. I just feel so overheated, and I've been feeling that way since my surgery. And I've checked, I don't have a temperature, a fever, or anything, so I don't know, again, like why my body's reacting that way. But I would say those have kind of been the main things that have been challenging for me as I've been recovering from this. But again, and also the gas pain. That was only bad for me for probably the first 2 days, because when you have surgery, they usually have to pump your abdomen up with some gas to be able to have the room to see and to do the work that they're needing to do. And so afterwards, that gas is kind of trying to work its way out of your body, and it can move its way up into like your shoulders and your neck, and can be really painful. And for me, I felt it mostly in my shoulder, but that went away after like 2 days. So those have kind of been like the biggest things for me with recovering. Like I said, it's been almost a week. My incisions are doing really well. I feel like my pain is really tolerable. It's probably rests at around a 4. And I just kind of take Tylenol and ibuprofen as they instructed me to do when I feel like I need it. I'm not taking it like around the clock anymore. The first couple days I had alarms set on my phone, and it ended up being every like 3 hours I would switch back and forth between the prescribed medication that they gave me and then like ibuprofen, and I would wake up to take those to just try to help keep myself at a good level. So anyway, I just like kind of wanted to explain the process. That is what my experience has been so far. As far as the surgery itself, they didn't find anything, which is kind of frustrating. You know, obviously I'm glad that there's nothing seriously wrong that they can see, but it, you know, obviously when you're hurting and suffering, you want there to be an answer. You want there to be, you know, a clear explanation so that you can try to work on a solution. I do trust my doctor. I know that they have my best interest in mind, and so I'm looking forward to my follow-up appointment to be able to be in a clearer headspace, because I didn't really talk to them. It was just my husband who spoke with them. And so I'm looking forward to the opportunity to kind of talk through things and see what the next steps are going to be. The other thing that they did during my surgery, and I can't remember the name of it again. I'm very tired. I'm still recovering, so sorry if, you know, my language and everything isn't super smooth. But they did another thing in the surgery where they put like a dye through my tubes to see if there was scar tissue closing them off, since I have had abdominal surgeries done. And thankfully that showed that they're not scarred off, which is great news. That obviously is really encouraging towards trying to have kids, knowing that, you know, my tubes are patent, they're open. So that was really happy news that we did get from the surgery. And with that aspect of it, I did have some like, it was like really, really blue. It was like a darker blue color, bluish green, like discharge for probably a day or two afterward. And that's just that dye kind of working its way out. So that was another aspect. But yeah, this week I've kind of just been taking a lot of naps, sleeping a lot, trying to kind of let my body recover. I definitely tire really easily. Even just like doing this video, I'm feeling pretty worn out. And so, you know, just trying to rest as much as I can, allow my body to try to recover. But yeah, that's kind of been my experience with this surgery. I've had some other pretty intense surgeries, and so I feel like comparatively this has been much easier, not as physically demanding on my body, which has been nice. I feel like I, you know, I'm hopefully bouncing back pretty quickly from it. If you haven't had surgeries before, obviously surgery is scary and intimidating, but I feel like this one, comparatively, you know, is relatively straightforward, and okay to recover from. Obviously, they didn't find endometriosis, so they didn't like scrape anything out. Since I haven't experienced that, I can't speak to what recovering from that is like. I can only speak to what I've gone through. But that's my experience. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. I'm happy to try to answer them the best that I can. Like I said, still pretty tired. I took about a week and a half off of work. I had my surgery last Tuesday, and I'm going back to work this Thursday. My job is very physically demanding, so I'm hoping that I'll have like the strength and stamina to be able to be back. I am feeling a little bit nervous about that, but hopefully each day I'm going to get a little bit stronger. But yeah, anyway, that's my experience. Sorry again if it's kind of scattered. I am still recovering and feeling really tired and worn out. But like I said, drop any questions and I will do my best to try to answer them.